Okay, guys, we are back for section 2.6, which is all about formulas and problem solving. So let's go ahead and jump right into your book. I can figure out which tab it's on. I've got so many open. So an equation that describes a known relationship among quantities such as distance, time, volume, weight, and money is called a formula. Here's some examples of formulas that you've probably seen before. I know you've seen the length times width as an area of a rectangle. You may not be familiar with simple interest as principal times rate times time. That's one of them. Define the perimeter of a triangle, or really anything. You just add up all the sides. Distance is equal to rate times time. The volume of a rectangular solid is V equals length times width times height. And then you've got a conversion from Fahrenheit to Celsius that we can also use. Okay, the first part of this section is just going to be us kind of solving some, well, we're going to use some of those formulas, and then we're just going to rearrange some formulas that they give us, and then we're actually going to get into solving some word problems. So let's do it. So I'm going to go to page, I think 129, I think. And I'm paranoid. I don't see record. Hold on. Let me see. Let me make sure it's over. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Whew, we're good. Okay. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is look at number 2, which is using the distance formula. So it asks us to substitute the given values into each given formula and solve for the unknown variable. On number 2, they give us a distance of 195. Come on, come on. I know you can do it for me. Yay. Do something you can read. So, and I'm going to come over here where I've got a little bit of space, and let me minimize myself here. So I'm going to plug in what I know. We've done this. We just haven't called it a formula, but we've done this. So my D is going to be 195 equals my R. I'm not sure what it is, and my T is 3. Now I'm asked to figure out what R is. So notice this is R times 3. So to undo multiplication, we can divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3. If you are not comfortable seeing this wrote like that, you can actually rewrite it to be 3R. And I can do that because of that wonderful commutative property that we talked about in class this week or last week. So let me divide both sides by 3. Woo. So we end up with R is going to be equal to, I don't trust myself to do any math in my head today. It's not been it's been a interesting math day. We're going to get 65. So R is equivalent to 65. So that's our rate. All right, cool. So that one's not bad. Guys, all of these first ones are just going to be kind of that evaluating idea. I do want to do one though that has a fraction in it just so we can see it. Let's look at number 8. So number 8, V equals 1/3 AH, which is the volume of a pyramid. The A is kind of tricky because the A is the area of the bottom of the pyramid. So there's actually a couple things that are going on with it. That's okay. So V equals 1/3 AH. I'm not going to be able to write this one here. So let me switch to a whiteboard. So we're going to stop share, and then we're going to reshare a whiteboard. And there we are. And then I need to flip my screen around so that I can actually write on it. So number 8. We got V equals 1/3 H, and they told me that V was going to be equal to 45, and H is going to be equal to 5. So if I plug in what I know, I'm going to have 45 equals 1/3 A times 5. Okay, so with this particular problem, I can go ahead and kind of clean up the right side, correct? Because it's 1/3 times A times 5. And remember, with the commutative property of multiplication, it doesn't matter what order you're multiplying as long as you're multiplying. So what I can do is I can actually do 45 equals 5 thirds A. How did I get 5/3? Well, if you put your 5 over 1, multiply straight across, you're going to get 5/3. The A is just kind of hanging out. Now, normally, because this is 5/3 times A, I would divide by what's attached to A, except when we've got fractions. We don't do division, we do multiplication by the reciprocal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply both sides by 3. Yeah, that's over 1 there. Let me get a different color so we can really see stuff canceling out. That's gone. That's gone. And then over here, the 5 will reduce to 1, and 5 goes into 45 9 times. So if I multiply straight across now, I've got 3 times 9, which is 27. And of course, on the bottom, I've just got 1, so it's just 27 is equal to A. So the area of the pyramid there on the bottom is going to be 27. Let's do one more of these. So I'm going to clear this out. And I'm just gonna write, this is actually, if you go to your ebook and look, it's number 14. So I'm gonna write it out for us. Number 14, they give me the volume of a sphere is equal to 4/3 pi r cubed. So 4/3 pi r cubed, where r is going to be equal to 3. And they do ask me to use a calculator approximation for pi. Typically, when they see that we're using 3.14. That's what we're going to do. So let's plug in what I know here. So I'm going to have volume equals 4/3 times pi is 3.14 times 3 cubed. So I put my 3 in for our notice. I did put it in parentheses because I'm wanting to really show that I'm just cubing the 3. So let's go ahead and clean up our exponents. Why am I doing that first? Because order of operations, and Miss Aunt Sally says that I should. So 3 cubed is going to be 27. And now it's just a matter of we multiply this out. You know, you can do it on your calculator. That's what I would recommend. If you want to get real technical, I can reduce the 3 and the 27. The 3 is going to become a 1, and the 27 is going to become a 9 because they're both divisible by 3. And I can do that because it's just multiplication. So really what I'm doing is 4 times 3.14 times 9. Let's see, 3.14 times 9, and we are going to get 113.04. So that's going to be our volume there. All right, cool. So let's switch gears a little bit. Here are all our drawings. I'm going to stop my share, and then I'm going to go back. That's a terrible, terrible view. Still a bad view, but that's okay. I'm going to go back and reshare my screen, and we're going to look at what happens when we're asked to actually solve a formula. So I want to look at number, let's do 18. So number 18. They give me, where's my annotate menu here? They give me T equals M/R. Now, I don't know what this formula is for. Some of these formulas I've never seen before, and this is one of them. I'm not sure what M, N, and R are all for, but anyways, it does ask me to solve for N. So there we go. They want me to solve for M. So students get confused about this because there's absolutely no numbers. But here's what happens, and this is what makes algebra beautiful and wonderful and amazing. Variables function just like numbers in algebra. So yeah, I don't have any numbers, but that's okay. I've got variables. The variables are going to work just like the numbers. So here's what I see. I see T equals M times N times R. And if I'm asked to solve for N, I need to get rid of that M and that R. So I need to kind of rip that M and that R off of the N. And so to do that, since it's multiplication, I'm going to divide both sides by MR. Right? So dividing M by M cancels, R by R cancels, and on the right side, I'm left with N equals, and on the left side, I'm left with T over MR. And that's it. That is your final answer. You cannot do anything else with that. We don't know what the variables are. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, done. I actually think it's easier to work with the variables because you don't have to keep doing the math. You don't have to go in and figure out what t divided by mr is. You're just, that's it. You're done. We move on. So let's look at, let's do number 22. I'm still paranoid that my recording is going to stop in the middle of this. I'm just going to go cry. You're going to see me cry and you'll have a video of it. So number 22, they're asking me to solve for t. So we've got a equals p plus prt. This is actually an interest formula. Oh, I use big letters, not little letters. Let me fix that. And guys, there is a difference in math between big or capital letters and lowercase letters. So we want to make sure we get it right. If you use lowercase letters on a math lab when it wants you to use uppercase letters, it will count it wrong. You will get that big red X. Okay. This is a formula for finding compound interest. So this is how you do compound interest. So if I want to solve this thing for t, let's talk about what I need to get rid of. I need to get rid of this p and this pr. Now, just like with numbers, typically when I've got addition or subtraction, I'm going to undo that addition or subtraction first, and that's what I'm going to do here. So this is a positive p. So to undo a plus p, I'm going to subtract p. And if I do it to one side of the equal sign, I have to do it to the other. So those two cancel out, and I'm left with a minus p equals p r t. All right, still solving for t. So notice it's p times r times t. So to undo p times r times t, I'm going to divide both sides by pr. And this is the beautiful thing about having variables. You can do it all at once. So those cancel. And this actually ends up being my final answer because I've got t over here by itself now. So I end up with a minus p over pr. Now the question I always get is, ooh, can I cancel those two p's? And the answer is no, absolutely not. Number one, that's goes against the order of operations. And number two, it's equivalent to like, what if I had 100 divided by 10? We all know 100 divided by 10 is 10. But canceling these two p's in this answer that I just made here is equivalent to saying, oh, look, there's a 1 and there's a 1 and 110. Let's just cancel those out, right? So is 100 divided by 10 equivalent to 0 divided by 0? No. So don't cancel those p's out. Just leave them alone. We will go over how to cancel them out later. All right, so let's clear that. What else can we do? We probably need to do one with a fraction, right? Because we love fractions. So number 24, we've got d equals 1/4 f times k, and we're solving this thing for k. Let's just go ahead and get rid of the fraction first. There's a bunch of different ways you can start. I just want to get rid of the fraction first. So notice it's 1/4 times f times k. So normally I would divide, except for I don't divide. I multiply by the reciprocal when fractions are involved. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 4/1. So I'm going to do it here, and I'm going to do it here. And then I'm going to get a different color so we can show really marking this stuff out. So this stuff cancels. And on the right side, I'm left with fk. On the left side, I've got 4/1, which is just 4 times d. So on the left side, I've got 4d. Now, still solving for k. What do I need to get rid of? I need to get rid of that f. So I'm going to divide both sides by f. So we end up with a statement that 4d over f is equivalent to k. So that's our answer. That's what k is. Okay, cool. Do I see anything else that looks cool? No, I think I'll leave it at that for solving formulas, because I'd really like to get into the word problem portion of this, because I know you would too. Again, guys, it takes practice to get good at these. So you're going to see this on the homework. You're going to see this on the lab that we're going to do on Tuesday. So don't forget about that. Okay. Let me close this menu down. I want to look at, and that's my phone ringing, but that's okay. We're doing math. We can't be stopped. Let's look at, let's do 32. So number 32, we're just using a formula to actually work it out. So I think we can do this. Maybe not. Maybe I need to draw a picture. We'll see. We'll see if I can, because I really want to keep the problem to where we can see it. So for the purpose of purchasing lumber for a new fence and seed to plant grass, part A, find the area in the perimeter of the yard below. And part B, to identify whether a fence has to do with area or perimeter, and the same with grass seed. Okay, there is a formula that we looked at the beginning that told us how to find the area of a triangle, I believe. And to find the area of a triangle, or no, it may have been in the homework. I don't remember where we saw it. Anyways, I'm going to tell you how to find the area of a triangle. To find the area of a right triangle, it's to find the area of a triangle, it's 1/2 base times height. So area is going to be equal to 1/2 your base times your height. So to find the area, I'm going to take 1/2. That's just standard for the formula because it's of a rectangle. That's why. My base is going to be 36. So I'm going to have 1/2 times 36 feet. And then my height is going to be 27 feet. So please notice for this, for finding the area, that 45 is not used. I don't care that it's 45. Great. That has no bearing on the area whatsoever. Oh man, I have messed this. This is just terrible to try to look at. Okay. So here, we can make this as easy or difficult as we want to. I'm going to make it easy because look, I'm going to take 1/2 of 36. 1/2 of 36 is 18, right? So I'm going to do 18 times 27. And if I do 18 times 27, that's going to give me 486. Now, when you were talking about area, you get square units. So area is always square units. Perimeter is the units that you started with. So if you started with feet, your perimeter is in feet. If you started with inches, your perimeter is in inches, so on and so forth. Volume is always cubic units. So in other words, it's got 3 as your exponent. So keep that in mind. Perimeter is always the units you start with. Area is square units. Volume is cubic units. Okay, so that's the area. And then it also wants the perimeter. Guys, there's a formula that says the perimeter of triangles A plus B plus C, but really it's just, you're adding all your sides up. That's all you're doing. You just add your sides up. So the perimeter, and this will include the 45, this goes. So the perimeter is going to be 36 plus 27 plus 45. And if we add all of those up, I hear my child screaming, plus 27 plus 45, that's going to be 108 feet. You just keep the same unit that you had. So you get 108 feet. So there's our area, there's our perimeter. Now let's do a discussion about area and perimeter for just a second. Let's say, for instance, I am wanting to put new molding in a room. Because I'm wanting to put new molding, like the molding at the bottom of the floor there, I would measure the distance around the room, right? So that would be a perimeter. If I wanted to put new carpet down, that's an area. I would have to measure the area of the room. And then if I wanted to fill the room up with something, say I wanted to fill the room up with water, that would be a volume. So that's the difference between the three. So On part B, identify whether a fence has to do with the area or perimeter in the same as grassy. Because a fence is going around the outside of that shape, the fence would be perimeter. Whereas with grass seed, that's you covering the ground in that triangular shape. That's going to be area. So grass seed goes with area, the fence goes with the perimeter. Okay, cool. So that was number 32. What else do I want to do here? Oh, let's do 36. Let's look at temperature there. My nose is itching. Allergy season must be starting. Okay, so I said let's do number. I want to do convert. We'll do some conversion here. Okay, so number 36, convert Paris, France's low temperature of -5 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit. Paris uses Celsius. We use Fahrenheit because we can't. Most of the world uses Celsius. Or not most of the world. We like our Fahrenheit. So I'm going to go back to my formula. So keep in mind, we've got -5 degrees Celsius. I'm going to go back to my formula page here. Oh, guys, there was a box I forgot to mention. If you're confused about how to solve formulas, this box on page, what page are we on here? 127. This box is great. It's very similar to the box that we had in the previous 2 sections ago, like where it told us how to solve for an equation. It's the same idea. All right, keep rolling, keep rolling. Where's my formulas? That's not my formulas. Oh, those are pretty mountains. So to find the conversion between Fahrenheit and Celsius, I'm going to use this formula right here. So we had -5 degrees Celsius. We're trying to change to Fahrenheit, so we can do that. So I'm going to do F equals 1.8 times -5 plus 32. Apparently, my sister's kids are here too. Okay, so I'm going to do 1.8 times -5, and I don't have to do the negative. I'm just going to do 1.8 times 5. I get 9, so that's -9 plus 32. Because the signs are different, instead of adding, I'm going to subtract. So 32 minus 9 is going to be 23, and that's going to be a positive because you got more positives. So that's going to be 23 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, deep breaths, deep breaths. I have been recording videos all day. I'm sick of recording videos. And I'm sure you're sick of watching this video. So we're all in the same boat. All right. How do I get my highlight menu to go away? Okay, great. That's great. Go away. Okay, let's clear our screen here. Clear all drawing. All right. What else can we do? Let's do 38. Let's do 38. So number 38, if the length of a rectangular parking lot is 10 meters less than twice its width and the perimeter is 400 meters, find the length of the parking lot. So the length of a rectangular parking lot is 10 meters less than twice its width. Okay, so here's what happens with this problem. They were really nice. They go ahead and give us the width. This is the width. Now I need to go in and find the length. So here, the length is going to be 10 meters less than twice its width. So I need to actually translate this sentence, and we'll go from there. So 10 meters less than twice its width. So twice its width is going to be 2x, and then 10 meters less than that is going to be minus 10. All right, cool. So I've got my length, I've got my width, and then I've asked to find, or they tell me that the perimeter is 400 meters. there's two ways to do this. So remember, perimeter is just adding all the sides up, but because a rectangle has these two sides that are the same, these two sides that are the same, and then these two sides that are the same, basically what happens is we can just double the length and double the width and add them together, and that'll give us the perimeter. So that's what I'm going to do because I'm going to run out of room. So I'm going to do 2x, so 2 times the width plus 2 times the length, which is 2x minus 10. And that's going to equal 400 meters. So let's clean this up. I've got 2x. I'm going to distribute out my 2. Not plus, I don't want to do it. So this is going to be plus 4x minus 20 equals 400 meters. Okay, let's combine like terms. 2x and 4x is going to give me 6x minus 20 is equal to 400 meters. I'm going to add 20. So I get 6x equals 420. I'm going to divide both sides by 6. No, I'm out of room. So x is going to be equal to 70. So what we just found is the width. The width is going to be 70 meters because that's x. The length is going to be 2 times 70 because that's x minus 10. So 2 times 70 is 140, and 140 minus 10 is going to be 130 meters. So we got 130 meters. Awesome. All right. I think let's see, what else do I want to do here? Guys, as long as you've got pictures, these formula problems are a lot easier, so you always want to make sure you've got a picture. I think most of these give us a picture. Got 30, we did 38, 42. Let's do 42. It's number 42. So number 42, a family is planning their vacation to Disney World. Yay! They will drive from a small town outside of New Orleans, Louisiana to Orlando, Florida, a distance of 700 miles. They plan to average a rate of 55 miles per hour. How long will the trip take? There is a formula for this, and that formula that we already talked about is distance equals rate times time. So distance equals rate times time. This is my distance. This is my time. So my distance is going to be 700 miles equals rate times, no, excuse me, I know what my rate is. Let me undo this, and my equal sign doesn't look right either. Equals, my rate is going to be 55, right? They tell me it's a rate. So it's a 55 times t. And guys, you probably didn't even have to have a formula to do this. We're very comfortable with miles per hour and how those work because, if you're in a car, that's how it works. So I'm going to divide both sides here since I'm solving for t by 55. Those cancel. And 700 divided by 55, because that math is not happening today for me, is going to be 12 point, we're going to say 12.7, or you know what, let's since it doesn't divide out evenly, rather than giving it as a decimal, I'm going to leave it as a fraction. So 755 are at least divisible by 5. So I'm going to have, if I divide 700 by 5, that's going to give me 140. And if I divide 55 by 5, that's going to be 11. So that's how many hours it's going to take. Be careful with switching this to decimals, because if it doesn't give you an amount to round to, it'll probably count it wrong, especially on my math lab homework. So make sure if it doesn't say something about rounding to a particular decimal place and you get an ugly decimal place, then leave it as a fraction. And I know you probably don't like that, but just leave it as a fraction. What else can we do here? Let's see. Guys, you've got this little snowy tree cricket formula. That one's not bad because it's already set up for you and ready to go. Let's see. I'm just kind of looking here if there's anything else I want to try to do. Let's do 58. And then I think we do 58, and then I think I'm gonna call it quits on this video because you're probably burnt out too. So on number 58, the world's largest pink ribbon, the sign of the fight against breast cancer, was erected out of pink Post-it notes on a billboard in New York City in October of 2004. If the area of the If the area of the rectangular billboard covered by the ribbon was approximately 3,990 square feet, and the width of the billboard was approximately 57 feet, what was the height of the billboard? Okay, this is an area formula, right? Because anytime you see, come on, need my annotate. Anytime you see square units like that, that's an area. So we're talking about the area of a rectangle. So the area of a rectangle they told us was going to be length times width. But you can change the names of length and width, right? Just because you say length and width, you could also see the area as being base times height. Those mean the same thing. So length, width, base, height, they all mean the same thing. And I'm just going to use base and height because that's kind of what they're using. So they tell us that the area is 3,990 square feet. That's the area. And then they go on to say, and the width of the billboard or the base, whatever, is approximately 57 feet. So this is going to be equal to 57 feet. They want to know what the height, right? So I'm just going to leave it h. So 57 times h. So how do we solve this now for h? I'm going to divide both sides by 57. If I divide both sides by 57, we get 3,990 divided by 57, which is going to give me a height of 70. And make sure we know our units here. Since it's square feet, it's going to be feet. 70 feet. All right, guys. Well, remember, we are doing a lab on Tuesday. I will post that. Make sure that you either print it off or you're ready to write it out. It'll probably have a lot of word problems on it since that's what we covered. And of course, yeah, have a great Monday.